Hi, this is Eric with the California Climbing School, and I'd like to show you how to do a belay escape. So let's say that my partner, we're climbing a Josh tree and he falls due to rock fall. Hey Joe, are you okay?
No.
Oh, that doesn't sound good. So I would love to go and help him and see how he's doing, but I can't because I'm stuck here. I've got his weight on my harness with my belay device. I'm tied into the end of the rope. I'm clove hitched into the master point of my anchor, and I'm stuck. So what do? First thing I need to do is I need to free my hands. And so I'm going to do that by taking the brake strand and bringing it underneath through the carabiner so it is locked off and tying a mule knot. Now this video assumes that you can tie a mule knot, a muncher hitch, an overhand, and either a Prusik or a climb heist. We do have other videos on those subjects. So I'm going to go ahead and tie my mule knot right up close to the ATC, as close as possible. If I tie my mule knot out here, it's going to sag and he's going to lower. He's not going to be pleased. So then we'll go ahead and do the overhand as well as the mule knot, and I'm hands-free. Now my next step is to build a bridge, which is a temporary load holding system that connects his load to the anchor. If I had another cordelette, I could tie a friction hitch on one side and then muncher mule overhand it to the anchor, but that's the only cordelette I have and it's being used. So instead, I'm going to go ahead and take a rescue cord. This is my 5mm cord. It's about 13.5 inches long, tied with a double fisherman, and I'm going to tie either a Prusik or a climb heist. So 3 wraps on my Prusik here. Make sure it's a hitch that's really going to grip. So I can check it. Yep, I'm getting some grip out of it. Take a large locker, large enough for a muncher hitch to flop over and not get stuck, and put it on that rescue cord. I'm going to take the back side of my clove hitch and I'm going to build a muncher hitch right there, okay? And then flip the muncher hitch onto the load side. That way, once I put Joe's weight onto this bridge, the muncher hitch won't flip over again and cause extra lowering. Okay, so tension it up as much as I can before I mule it off. So now the mule knot. And then pull enough slack through to tie your overhand. And there is my bridge right here. Okay, it is not weighted, not yet. So do I untie my ATC and put his weight onto the bridge now? Well, then Joe would be hanging on just a piece of 5mm. So that's not the safest. We should have this backed up with the rope in case this blows, okay? So let's not load the bridge yet. Let's build a backup with the rope. But which rope? Look, we've got a rope coming off of our bridge and a rope coming off of our tied off ATC. This is the one, okay? Because it comes off of the climber. So we're going to go ahead and get another large locker into the master point. We're going to muncher hitch into that large locker. And then I'm not going to do a whole lot else with it right now. I'm going to mule it off later. So the idea is I'm going to go ahead and hold on here as a theoretical brake hand to catch him in case my bridge slips when I transfer his weight onto the bridge. I don't think it's going to slip, so I feel pretty good about this. So multitasking with this hand, ready to catch, and then we're going to untie the overhand on the tied off ATC. And this is a delicate process. You really don't want to drop someone or jerk them down, so you can warn them lowering as you transfer their weight onto the bridge. And then your next step is to go ahead and get the rope out of the ATC. Right? That's the whole point, is to escape the belay. Now look at all this slack from that tied off ATC. Let's go ahead and pull that slack out of the system. And we're about to have Joe on the baseline, which is the load of the rope going right onto the anchor. Let's flip the muncher hitch onto his side, onto the load side. Tension it up so it doesn't flop again once we put his weight on it. And then we'll mule it off So munch your mule overhand. There's my mule. Here's my overhand. Tie these compact, get everything close to your locker so there's no slippage or minimum slippage. Okay, and am I done? Yeah, I'm done, but what if I want to use this friction hitch for this cord for something else, right? Maybe I rappel down to help him out and I use that for my backup for my brake hand on my rappel. So I'm going to go ahead and carefully undo my bridge. There might be a little bit of a pop right here. I can warn him right at this moment. Pop and lower so that there's no surprises. Remember, you've got an injured climber on the other end, so you really don't want to start lowering them without giving them a warning, and you want to minimize their lower. So now I can clean up the mess, and I have completed my Belay Escape with just one friction hitch and 4 lockers. I had the one that I was belaying with, the locker that I was clove hitched into, and then the one for the bridge and the one for the baseline. So there you go. There's a Belay Escape.